The sequel.
Woo! Just put it in there. Hello, hello.
Mm-hmm. I just met him once on the street. That is not true, and it's very strange.
Yeah, Jordan was lying. Oh no!
He was being a little sus. It's true.
Throw him out. Throw him out. Okay. This is not Among Us though.
Correct. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's got cool snakes on the cover. It's very like dark or Underdark. No, Darklands.
Darklands. Yes.
No, I think that's a Ravner.
Ravner, yeah.
It might be a Ravner husk or something, but it's definitely a Ravner.
Mm-hmm. Pretty sure. If I know my Ravners,
and I do.
Yeah, so the Bestiary 2. So interestingly, of course, if you have the original Bestiary or if you just investigated tabletop RPGs in general, I mean, it is book of creatures, of course, a bunch of new stuff, and a bunch of working ins, yes. A bunch of reworks of stuff from first edition to be now used with the second edition game line.
Very cool. Jordan, they can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
You probably didn't switch the audio input to yourself instead of to me. Or from your boom arm thing to the other mic.
You are absolutely right. Okay, I'm sure everybody can hear me now because I see the little thingamajig going up and down when I talk.
Yep. Please
all right, from the top, everyone.
Yeah.
All right, they can hear us now. No, it's fine. We've come to.
Y'all missed all my good.
Hear Ross and I.
I love that you guys just got to hear all the reactions to the jokes, not the actual jokes themselves. This is, in Soviet Russia,
so
jokes laugh at you.
The first thing they heard was, "Yep, I just met him on the street."
Yep. Followed by Jordan was lying.
Oh goodness! Well, now everybody has to. Everybody's just gonna have to go to the the Ventures feed to hear all the jokes firsthand. I'm not repeating myself because the moment's lost.
Bestiary 2, that's what we're talking about here.
Yes, we are. Welcome to live streaming, everyone.
Indeed. But so Bestiary 2, of course, Jordan, Jessica, myself, I'm Ross, are all here to talk about the fun, good times that is Paizo's second Bestiary offering. Mm-hmm. And so, as I was just saying at the top, it is basically just more monsters, but it's interesting that, at least from what I can tell, a lot of the Bestiaries didn't have a theme. The first Bestiary is mostly like classic,
the core
stuff.
Essentials,
True.
Stuff you really need to have a fantasy game, basically. This one seemed to be really heavy on like elements of the first world and the Fae.
Woo!
I don't know if y'all were noticing that as well.
There were a lot of Fae, but I like Fae, so I was in.
Oh yeah, no, I mean there's nothing wrong with that. It just was interesting to note that particular theme.
Yes, for those who are curious about the page count, this is 319 pages long, with pretty much everything getting about a, I don't know, actually I just of course scrolled to a random piece that had nothing to do with that, getting at least a page per thing.
Yeah.
Some of course are getting two, especially if they're like templates and things that you can make NPCs of, basically.
Oh, chat says there was a theme to support the upcoming Kingmaker re-release, I believe.
That makes perfect
sense. That actually makes a lot of sense with the Fae. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to structure this one a little bit different than we usually do research checks because it's the Bestiary. It's the Bestiary. It's monsters.
We're not going to read off every one of them.
Yeah. So I think, we'll just generally talk about some cool stuff, and then we'll just dive into questions from the Discord and from the Patreon. And so, because that'll guide us through talking about monsters that you guys want to hear about. So feel free to throw questions into the Twitch chat also, if you think of them.
And if you are curious about the contents of this, because you haven't picked up one of the bestiaries yet, we did do a review or a discussion of Bestiary 1 that has more of the like nitty gritty stuff as far as like organization and all of that.
And major changes to second edition. And I apologize for my cat.
She wishes to have a microphone.
You never need to apologize for your cat, Ross. We all love Amelia. Amelia loves the mic.
Yes, she does. At any rate, though, so you know what? I'm just going to ask a quick question to get us started. What is everyone's just favorite creature in general, like over in the whole book? Like, what creature do you look at?
Good gracious.
Oh, wow, this one's amazing.
Hang on, I have to go back to the beginning where it lists them all in alphabetical order so I can try to pick.
I know.
This is a bad question because this is like picking your favorite child. It's impossible.
Yeah, like pick your favorite pet. It's like, well, they're all awesome, like
they are all pretty cool. I'm looking and trying to think.
Also, we might be coming a little low.
Yeah, I actually was just adjusting that. So.
Okay, cool.
Gosh, I was gonna say to pick my favorite creature in this whole thing. Oh man, there's a lot of good ones, especially ones that I've run before that I'm like, oh hey, I remember running that and how much fun I had murdering people with it. God, man, it is really tough.
Oh, okay, wait, I have an answer. Because I have like 6 answers to this question for a later question, so I'll just use one of them here. I am pleased and happy that they have put the Attic Whisperer back in this book, because the Attic Whisperer gets me every time. If you put, help me, I'm going to go help them, and I'm going to probably get eaten. And that has happened to me numerous times in adventures, and it still gets me. I'll even say this is probably an Attic Whisperer. I'm probably going to get attacked, but whatever, I'm going.
Yeah. Good luck, my character. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
They're really devastatingly sad too, but they're very cool.
Yes, true, but yes. What about you, Jordan?
Oh my gosh, I'm literally looking through the alphabetized list trying to pick a favorite, and it's
so hard. You could do an Alas, which looks like a big elephant thing. Aolas? It looks to me like it should be in Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, and it should be like an elephant version of the dubstep bees.
Those are the constructs, the magical constructs things?
Yeah, it's gargantuan construct.
Yeah.
Like an elephant with crystals on its head, and its ears look like speaker like things.
Oh yeah.
Like subwoofers. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard. I'm going to pull a Rach and cheat a little bit.
Well, we have this question a few more times, so you'll
This book gets has a lot of golems in it. I always find golem fights really fun. So I will go ahead and go with golems. There's lots of golems, so I like golems.
Sounds good.
Rick in the chat says Ikata, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I was tempted by Ikata, but I think the creature that I just have the most fun with, that I actually gave an almost audible cheer when I read it, which probably says a lot about me, is the Frog Hemoth.
Frog Hemoths are mean, man.
They're just so weird and goofy, but they're also terrifying.
They're bad.
Oh yeah,
they're bad.
So like, I was like so happy to see them back, and I was like, yay, Frog Hemoth.
It's true. There are great things here. You know what else is really neat in this book? The petitioners. Am I wrong? And I have never heard of them as, I mean, obviously there are petitioners in the game, but I didn't know
the lore behind them.
Yeah, they were put in one of the, I'm trying to remember which bestiary from first edition had them, because they were put in one, but I think it was one of the later ones.
Okay, I just think they're really neat because they're creature 1, so they're pretty low level. There's a different kind for every plane of existence, so if you wanted to like run a low level interplanar thing, like you could throw some of these guys at players because they're low enough level that, you know, you're not like, welp, I guess I'm going to throw the Glabrazoo at them.
Yeah, have fun.
Oh, well.
And it's interesting because it also, just for the verisimilitude of the world, helps you explain, you know, what happens to people when they die.
Between becoming really cool Azada and Mortal Souls, this is one of the steps.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's just helpful for, you know, world building purposes as well.
True.
Oh my gosh, I forgot there were Chupacabras in here.
Oh yeah, Chupacabra.
Which makes me think of El Chupamono from Serpent Skull.
Yes.
That's not a spoiler. That's just a thing that exists.
We just made that up as a thing
we
that we
definitely
thought was
made that
attacking
up.
Things.
But of course, you know, there's the side blurbs as well. The Chupacabra has one of my favorite little bits, and it is a carryover from first edition, but I still love it. Is the winged Chupacabras being these sort of like legendary, oh, by the way, you can come across some and they fly. It's great. Everybody loves that.
It's like the blood from goats, and they can fly away, leaving no trace.
It's pretty on point, to be honest. I'm also going to bring up the appendix because first of all, I don't think I've ever really read a bestiary ever because I didn't really GM first edition, and also I just look things up when I need them. I don't really like look through books to look through them in general, but certainly not GM only books. But what I thought was interesting in the back of this one is the rituals, so that you could make your abyssal pact, or you could make your demonic pact or infernal pact or whatever, because that's, you know, that's a pretty classic story. You make a deal with the devil, and now you can see how it actually works. And it's ritual 1, so you could do it at first level.
You know, if you feel like selling out early before you've gotten famous.
Yeah, that's always a good sign.
Although, actually, I think these are the devils that do it. The devil has to make the check, it looks like. Religion expert, you must be a devil. But still, I like it. I think it's fun.
I mean, if nothing else, it's giving you that like game mechanic of how, if a player wanted to, how you could do it. Which is always fun because it's just good flavor text, you know.
True. Yeah, so that's neat. Do y'all want to get into some questions? Any other general comments? Or...
There was one other thing I kind of wanted to mention. As it has become apparent over the course of the second edition game line, they're incorporating a lot more of the Golarion lore directly into the rule books. And so one of the things that was cool to note in here are things like the Sandpoint Devil or the Jabberwock that are very uniquely Pathfinder monsters, but also just uniquely Golarion monsters, which I think is a very cool thing. And I'm glad that they're kind of just leaning, you know, fully into that. That way it's like, oh, wow, yeah, they're fighting the Sandpoint Devil. I still have my copy of the first adventure path somewhere where they stat that out. Geez, you know, I mean, it's really helpful to have that in like just one of the big books. So I'm a big fan of including that.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat. I guess I didn't realize the Sandpoint Devil wasn't in any first edition bestiaries.
It was in. They included a stat block for it. I want to say in the like setting guide, like the world guide or whatever it was. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the exact name of the book. Obviously, Rick is better at this than I am.
I was gonna say I don't think it was in a bestiary though.
No, it was not in a bestiary though. But they did put it in like one of their campaign setting specific books, which you know did help. But it's just nice to have that baked in. And of course, the Sandpoint Devil is, you know, synonymous with the city of Sandpoint. But if you are homebrewing, it still makes for a pretty cool, like, urban legendy creature that you can just kind of throw in. You don't have to call it the Sandpoint Devil. It's just a very neat creature.
So, the chat has given you an answer. Inner Sea World Guide and Mystery Monsters Revisited.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I never actually got that second.
Okay, this person was on it. They have the page numbers.
It's from Archives of Nethys.
I know, but they provided the page numbers. They cited their sources.
Yeah.
Well, the Archives puts them there.
All right, fine. I'm gonna just keep trying to give him a compliment for doing a good job.
As a librarian, I approve.
There you
go. Cite your sources, folks. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah. So there's a lot of questions, and I'm sure we'll get on lots of tangents. But let's start with some beginning ones. So the first question is from Dizzy Dwarf on the Discord. Are there any monsters that you think would be particularly useful for summon spells?
Yeah, so it's tricky because summon spells do work a lot differently now. Since instead of a list, basically, it's like you can summon X creature of certain type, of a certain creature level or lower. It's like, oh, wow, okay. Well, I guess
I'm gonna hope that what I picked is legal to summon, but I think it is.
I was gonna say I did the same thing where I was like, I just had a thought and I was like, I don't even know if this would be legal to summon.
There's a bunch of different summon creature variants. I went with the Sand Sentry, which you can summon. I believe it's summon elemental starting at level 6, like a 6 level spell. Sand Sentries are interesting because they are earth elementals, but I like there are two really neat things about them. First, their attacks have a chance to blind people because you get sand in their eyes.
Fun.
Pocket sand.
Nice.
For you King of the Hill lovers. I know I love it. And then the other interesting thing is that if they take any fire or electricity damage, they get their outer layer of sand becomes glass. Which gives them a whole bunch of damage resistances and increases their armor class, which is just one of those okay, so I'm a sorcerer, I throw a Sand Sentry out there. Oh wow, they're getting through it pretty quickly. Okay, well I'm just gonna shock them a little bit with one of my cantrips, and boom.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not nice. It's the creature still takes damage from it, but if you really need it to in a pinch. One thing I wish that existed, the zip stick from Starfinder. It would just be okay, I just poke them with a little little and then bam.
True, just a little taser.
That'd be nice. Yeah, just a little.
Cool. All right. Well, the one I picked is the Cave Fisher. Ooh. So this is an animal. It's medium. It's a creature 2. So I believe it should be pretty easy to summon with a fairly low level summon spell. But so what sold me on these, and as soon as I saw them in this book, I knew that I was going to pick this creature for this question. I recently played in a society game, I won't tell you which one, on the Discord, and they were 3 cave fishers or something, and they ruined our day. Ooh. We fought big giant zombies, we fought demon infested other things. Fine, no problem. These guys, awful. Even the GM thought that they would be pushovers, but they have this ability called sticky filament, or sorry, it's they have sticky filament, and if they hit you with a ranged attack, they can grab you, and once you're grabbed, they can yank you toward them, and so they pull you off the side into water, and then you have to try to swim. They pull you off of a thing and make you hit the ground. You take bludgeoning damage because it's relatively difficult to escape. The escape DC is 19 or something, and they owned us in that fight, and we were not first level characters.
By the way, looking it up, you can summon it starting at 3rd level spells. Summon animal 3 can summon a level 2 creature. So
perfect. Well, there you go. All of you with summon creature or summon animal 3. Ooh, is that a primal spell? Maybe I'll put that on my list.
Yes, it is primal.
My Pathfinder Society character will be preparing that spell when she gets that level.
Here we go. Okay. Well, that's cool because it's basically hey, I can use the terrain to my advantage, and here's a creature that's really good at that. So that's nice.
Mm-hmm. It's like a cave. Somebody in the Twitch chat says it's a gross crab spider, which is exactly true.
Pretty much, yeah.
Also true.
Pretty much.
Just a little gross boy with little claws and filament.
Oh no. Don't like that.
All right, Jordan, what do you got?
All right, so I'm going to populate your nightmares tonight.
No.
I have no idea if you would ever actually be able to summon this, but Tick Swarm. First off, ticks are gross, super gross, but an entire swarm of them They are a creature 9. So they're fairly high level, but it is every creature in there gets the swarming bites that are 3d6 points of damage, plus their cling ability, which you get both when they attack you and when you leave their square. It's a reaction that they can do. Where the swarm takes a d6 of damage as ticks cling to the creature and continue biting, dealing 3d6 persistent piercing damage. Immersion in water reduces the DC of the flat check to end this persistent damage to 5. Blah, 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 blah. But yeah, you walk out of the swarm covered in ticks. Woo! And they're just burrowing in there.
No,
yeah,
thank you,
telling you,
no,
populating nightmares. It'd be awful, but also
fun. 7th level spell.
7th
there
level.
You go.
Hey, there is
you
summon
can
swarm.
Summon a tick swarm.
7th level.
No,
nice.
Summon animal will summon a tick swarm. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's pretty cool.
Yep, I just put that out there for
for
higher level players. Now they're gonna be like, summon the tick swarm.
No, thank you.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Yay.
For your Vermin Druids.
It's weird and creepy, and I'm not sure I like it.
Yep.
Well,
they're
Vermin
awful.
Druid makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, Vermin Druid would be.
But
it'd be really
so
thematic, but they're so gross. Like,
because you know that you kick them off of you, and you have little tick heads stuck in you if you don't do it right. Like,
yep.
I have trauma around ticks.
Yeah,
I think that's like a rite of passage of getting ticks as a kid. Yep.
Well,
super
that
fun.
sounds like a very bad rite of passage, and it should be.
Be here to find the path. Do not recommend infesting yourself with ticks.
Nope, but it happens.
No.
I mean, it does happen, but we don't recommend it.
Certainly not.
No.
Our lawyers won't let us recommend it.
Correct.
We have lawyers, right?
Okay. I mean, we can contact a contract devil. We now know how to do an infernal pact.
Hey, there you go.
There we go.
I don't know if I want to do that, but we could maybe do it. All right. Let's go to the next question because ticks are gross, and I'm ready to talk about something else.
Sounds good to me.
Giga from the Discord asks, "Are there any monsters you feel deserve way more love?"
So, as Rick was saying, I love the Ikatas. They're from a very early AP. I won't say which one because spoilers, and it's a really cool section. So if you get to it, like, you'll know it. But the Ikatas are really interesting. They're like creatures from space. They do this.
They're
whole,
in Starfinder
thing. Oh wow, that's. I need to.
I was just prepping something for a game that I'm running on the Discord soon, and it has Ikata in it. And I was like,
huh. Awesome. I think I need to play whatever that is.
You probably
so anyway, yeah. Oh no. Oh no. But yeah, no, they're very cool, and I do hope that they make a comeback at some point, somewhere, even if it's just, in like a Pathfinder Society scenario or something, because it's like they're super neat. That whole saltwater thing is fun. Oh man, I remember
saltwater thing.
They're vulnerable to salt water. It's actually like a strong acid for them. Because just the way that their biology works, like they can't process so like one of the things that we did in that game was like we take just empty jars and like fill them with salt water and like throw them. It was interesting. As like a makeshift grenade, and it basically worked against them. Yeah.
Weird.
That's cool.
Anyway, what about y'all?
I don't know. I don't super have anything I thought needed specifically more love, but I just thought everything in here was very neat to start with. So I don't really have a frame of reference for something that's necessarily missing. Because the things I like are like first world things, and there were so many Fae in this that I was like, yes, good.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen more fleshing out of the petitioners, just because that was such a unique concept. I was in the same boat as Jess. I didn't realize those were a thing. And learning more about, like, so what do you actually do? Like, all right, I was sent to the abyss. I am now a worm with the face of my previous self. What do I do now? Like, how do I become the lemur? You know, which is it's weird that we're considering lemurs an upgrade.
Teach me your ways, lemur.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, that's your next upgrade. Yeah. So, like, what do you do?
Yeah, technically better.
Upgrade.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like, so, like, I'm just curious.
Can you game the system? Can you game the system to just like skip a level and like hop over
if you were like an extra good priest of Rovagug, do you get to like, you know, skip
an extra bad priest of Rovagug?
Or extra bad priest, yes. Extra bad priest.
Yeah. An extra chaotic and evil priest.
I'm so good at being bad.
Indeed.
All right.
Indeed. Hey, Big Norse Wolf is talking about the encounter I was prepping.
Oh,
they know what's going on. Also, the Hounds of Tendalos are always so weird to me. I don't know what you would do to get them more love necessarily, but anytime they appear, they make me very happy. Like, they're just so weird.
Yeah, I mean,
they're vulnerable to curved space.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
They definitely get love in Pathfinder just because, you know, it's I think.
Well, because they're part of the Cthulhu mythos, right? The Hounds of Tendalos.
Yeah. So, yes, they are basically.
Cosmic horror.
And yeah, obviously the fine folks at Paizo do love them some cosmic horror. So there been more than one adventure path that has featured a Hound of Tendalos or two.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of two at least. So
yeah. So, but still,
they're here in second edition now too.
True. Great. Good. Fine. Fantastic.
All right. Okay, so the other side. So this is still Giga. Are there any monsters you feel get way too much attention?
So I don't know. It could just be a personal thing, but I've run so many encounters with Trendiculi, Trendicles. They're these kind of fungusy plant things that have like tendrils and stuff, and like they are interesting.
Okay.
But I don't know. I've run so many encounters with them that I'm just like, all right, can we like maybe give them a little bit of a rest for at least a little bit?
Fair.
Admittedly, that could just be like just the luck of the draw and what I've been running recently. Most recently. Also, I just think they're gross. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, true.
Great.
True. Gross is not super fun for me either.
Yeah.
Jenkins, you got one?
It's kind of weird to me. So Serpent Folk get a lot of love in this book. They have an entire page just on, you know, what are Serpent Folks. They stat out Eudurcius, their headless deity, and then go into 4 different stat blocks of different types of Serpent Folk, and that it was just a lot. Like I kind of was looking at it, going, "Why are there so many Serpent Folk?"
I would play the bejesus out of a Serpent Folk. Give me a fancy like cobra face, but like hands. Because I don't really want to play a Naga because they don't have hands. That's a problem for me. But being a Serpent Folk where you have hands.
Get the hands. Yeah, you get the hands.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just
and so
it just
then
kind
you
of
get
was
to be
weird.
Cool. You can put piercings. It'd be rad.
Yeah, but it takes up like 6 pages of space that I was like, I mean, that seems a lot for well, and especially because Serpent Folk unless I'm just misremembering, don't have a huge presence on the surface. They have, you know, a little bit of a presence underneath, but they're mostly extinct. So maybe that's changed.
Maybe not everywhere.
Maybe with the advancement of the magic school, the Magambia campaign, maybe they'll have a part
maybe,
of that,
yeah.
I wonder. Maybe. I mean,
maybe they are hinting towards using them in an upcoming adventure path.
Maybe.
Or maybe they're just on a continent we haven't been to very much yet, or they're southern Garund, which we haven't been to very often.
True.
Or
yeah, I mean that's true.
Yep. Or maybe it's just Serpent Skull sequel.
I mean, I liked running Serpent Skull.
I thought you were going to say I'm just still burned out from Serpent Skull.
Oh, no, I liked Serpent Skull.
I didn't play Serpent Skull.
No, yeah, you weren't in that with us.
A lot of serpent people in it.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh, that's right.
I was going to say, it definitely had
Guess
a lot
what?
of serpents.
Serpent Skull has serpents. Spoiler.
And skulls, but just not necessarily serpent skulls.
And skulls.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna say something controversial, and Heather's not here to bop me. So, haha. I think that I think Cthulhu Mythos stuff gets too much attention.
Too many
Right.
Quiliputh.
And I'm gonna say that because I can name at least 3, probably 4, maybe even like 7 or 8 adventure paths that include something from the playbook of Cthulhu, right? Something from that mythos. Lots of Nyarlathotep, lots of Shub-Niggurath, lots of, Hastur. And I wish,
don't say that.
Hastur.
No.
Maybe focus on some different things that are, I don't know, not from that. Because they're neat, but I feel like I've seen them a lot now, and so they're not really scary or anything anymore.
I suppose that is one thing about the mythos is that the more it's defined, the harder it is to be afraid of them, but also the more insane you go. So swings and roundabouts, right?
Like you do.
It's true. All right. Let's see. Let's move on. Oh, this is a fun question. From Poutine on the Discord, we have, what monster could have a whole AP built around it or them?
This is a tough one.
I'll just say something random and weird. Jabberwock.
It's just Alice in Wonderland, the adventure.
It's literally just like you going through this like trippy, like, you're not sure if you're actually like drugged up or not, like kind of very hippie, surreal, like, vibe to find the Jabberwock, the elusive Jabberwock,
Beware the Bandersnatch. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, we all know the poem. Well, I don't know if we all know the poem, but I have read the poem.
Many of us,
but it'd be interesting to bring in all those as well,
Mm-hmm.
True.
No, that would be pretty cool. Yeah. What about you, Jess?
For me, I think you could put something around Norns, which I know as the Fates. I didn't know they were called Norns in Pathfinder, but they are essentially, there's not just 3 of them. They're just often in triumvirates, but they're essentially the 3 ladies with the string and the scissors and the strings of fate and that whole idea. But apparently, there's something called a lost Norn, which happens when Norns are separated from their triumvirates and they start to use fate and kind of their abilities for self-serving reasons, because usually they're very neutral. So I think it'd be interesting to have an adventure around this idea of you encounter a Norn that's separated from their triumvirate but wants to not become a lost Norn and you need to help them, or maybe you meet the 2 that are missing the 3rd and you're like trying to find them. And I feel like there's something there that could be really neat. You could have these like patron fae. Are they fae? These patron like fate ladies who occasionally just tell you cryptic things and let you go off.
Yeah, we all like a good cryptic riddle every now and then.
I mean, we're all adventurers at heart. Of course we do.
And the more you get to get out the string board, the better.
This is also true. So very true. And yes, they are in fact fae, by the way. So.
Okay, I thought they were, but I was not 100% because I don't have them exactly. There we are.
Yeah.
But you can also follow them. That's a different question. Okay, keep going. Okay, never mind. You can follow them. You can worship them. They're called followers of fate. It's not society legal, which I think is lame. But the favored weapon is a pair of shears, and they give you the cost and the damage and stuff, so that you could actually carry around scissors that you just like apparently stab people with, and they bleed. So it's pretty fun.
Jeez.
I think it's very cool.
Yeah, hey.
But you can be lawful good, lawful neutral, or lawful evil, right? So you could play as long as you're lawful.
Yeah.
Anything. Okay. And their anathema is disrespecting mothers, which I find hilarious.
Father's fine, mother's straight out.
Yeah.
Well, because they're all women.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll step off of I'll put my soapbox away now.
No, but that's I think they're pretty interesting. For this question, I don't know if they would necessarily fill out an entire adventure path, but maybe just like a standalone adventure, or maybe even like a society scenario or something. The Totem Mask, it's an undead creature that so what they can do is they can absorb your flesh, and then they can look like either what they looked like in life, or they can look like you.
So they're like creepier versions of
like skinwalkers. Yeah, doppelgangers.
Yeah, they're somewhat similar to doppelgangers, except they have to like kill, like murderize people
sure.
to accomplish their changes.
You know,
but it would be interesting to have one of those as like a villain that the PCs have to track down. Maybe some sort of serial killer or something like that. It would be really like creepy and interesting to, sort of.
Yeah.
And of course they're like, oh, well, who is the Totem Mask? Like, the Totem Mask could be any one of us at any time, so gets in the whole like mimic territory.
Yeah, that'd make a really interesting like murder mystery urban campaign.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I just have the setting for you. Let me read the side blurb about them because I didn't finish reading it earlier, and this last sentence is horrifying. Some totem masks craft macabre art by shaping the flesh of their victims, spending hours, days, or even weeks molding a victim's skin, or even fusing multiple creatures together into one piece. The horrifying results of this process can take the form of furniture made from flesh that still lives and breathes, sculptures that in no way resemble the human form, and even more twisted and depraved things. So you walk into a mansion and the couches breathe.
Ew.
Yeah.
It sounds awful.
Not great.
Also,
truly horrifying.
Also, great way to start a corpse orgy. Fusing all the people together.
Just what I always wanted is another way to start a corpse orgy.
Gross.
Good.
It's the still breathing part that makes it extra weird. Otherwise it's like kind of Buffalo Bill.
Like you sit on the couch and it's breathing and you're like, oh.
But again, like that does help with the whole serial killer vibe too. It's like,
very Buffalo Bill.
Like the actual like lair or whatever is just going to be this super gross set piece.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So creepy. All right, Jenkins, what do you got?
I said the Jabberwock at the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, sorry, I spaced out on that. Oh no. All right, so any new lore or lore change that surprised you or caught you off guard? For me, it's the fact that Chitons prefer to be called Velstruck, because Chiton is actually just the title of like a master or virtuoso among their kind. It's interesting that they're not called Chitons in the book anymore.
Yeah. Chitons have had a strange history in like Pathfinder and other tabletop kitty. What are you? I'm sorry. I hope she's not like messing up with anybody wearing headphones. I apologize in advance if you have the sound turned up, headphone listeners. So anyway, though, because I think originally a lot of people just thought they were like devils, but they were their own thing, but they also weren't. It was really weird. And then over time, they've slowly, in Pathfinder at least, evolved into being like a separate classification of creatures. But they've always been kind of I'm glad that they've kind of changed that, because I think that does help give them a place. And especially with like Zon Cthulhu being a thing, it really makes sense.
True. Okay. Jordan.
Okay, no, that's
or anybody else really.
I was gonna say something that really surprised me. I think I actually had never really looked up Clipoth. And it was very interesting to me because there's a side blurb that talks about how they used to rule the abyss before demons started spawning. And I thought that was kind of interesting, just in the, like you see these like realms as like timeless places, right? Because I was just thinking like, oh yeah, there's always been angels in heaven, you know. But to see like, you know, there eons ago there were actually, you know, there were no demons, blah blah blah. Like I thought that was kind of interesting, just to kind of see that. And that might not be new. That might just be new to me.
Yeah, I mean they do have a sort of proto thing going on, which is interesting. So as far as I mean, this is a lot more minor, but Tatzelworms have both leonine and eagle-like forms, which I think is really neat.
Oh,
like, they're
that's
not
cool.
Just necessarily like, you know, giant lizards. So I was like, huh, I kind of want to see more about like why that is, because that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's
because like, is that like a regional variation, or
that's what the side blurb mentioned, but it didn't necessarily go into a lot of specifics as to like why. It just said that like some regions people describe Tatzelworms as like having sort of leonine like features and, you know, like manes and stuff like that, and fur. Others describe them as having eagle heads and feathers, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
True. Interesting. All right. Is that everyone?
That is everyone.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure this time. All right. So, what monster would make the coolest solo boss fight?
Ooh.
All right. Well, I have one that I think is a really cool creature that I've never really gotten to run, but I really want to someday. A Knuckleavi, or Knuckleavi, if that's better. They are a type of fae that comes out of the waterways when waterways get polluted. And they're sort of like...
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, they're sort of like cavaliers in a way, almost. Like they look like they're just like mounted, and they you know, charge at you with lances and stuff. They're very interesting, and they also have an interesting weakness insofar as that being in like clean water hurts them. Which makes me feel very like, gives me a big like Captain Planet vibe. It's like, oh, if we can clean the water up, like we can, you know, hurt the Knuckleavi, and it's like, oh no. So yeah, go.
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Apparently we were on the same wavelength, because I also decided to go aquatic with my pick. Also I just like aquatic things, but I think that the Vaspercham maybe, would be a very cool solo fight, mostly because I mean it's a 17th level creature, so it's got lots of cool abilities, but I like that it has an aura that comes from its shell. Essentially, okay, so I've never heard of them before this book. They are like mermaids with tentacles and a shell. So they're kind of like a hermit crab, but with tentacles and a mermaid body sticking out instead of a little crab body.
Yeah, the art looks like Ursula. If Ursula like backed into
with
a shell,
seashell.
Yeah.
Yeah. A side note: I recently watched a video of hermit crabs changing shells, and the part of the hermit crab that goes in the shell is just like a little nibble.
Yeah, it's like a little anyway, little wormy back end.
That's what I imagine is in this. Yeah, it's just a little wormy back end. It's very weird. It's disconcerting. But yes, so the ability that I think they have that's cool is this aura. They have a 30-foot aura that comes off of their shell, and anybody who casts a spell has to make a DC 37 will save, or this magic warping aura messes with their stuff. So like they maybe the Vaspercham's going to get a bonus to save against it, or the spell randomly changes to a different spell.
Oh.
The GM gets to decide. And that's if you fail that will save. If the spell has a target and there are one or more viable targets within its range, the spell's target changes, determined randomly by the GM. If there are no possible targets within range, then the spell is disrupted. And if you critically fail, the caster then casts another spell chosen randomly from their spell repertoire. That's the one I was thinking of. So essentially, if you don't pass that DC 37 will save, something you were not expecting is going to happen.
Very wild magic.
And I find that interesting.
Yeah, very wild magic.
I like
kind of
chaos.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
I didn't
they also have
want to
tentacles and
cast
stuff, so like
heroism
that's
on
cool.
it.
But
like, too bad you are now.
oh, thanks for the heroism, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You didn't want to cast that high level heal? Too bad.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so following with my love of constructs and all things vaguely robotic, there is, and this may be new, I'm not actually sure if this has been statted out somewhere else, but the Radiant Wardens would be a really interesting fight. So I don't, like I said, I don't know if they're new. I'd never heard of Jiscan, which apparently is the ancient society that made these constructs, the same ones that made those elephant things with the web thing that we were talking about earlier. So it's a 17th level creature, or it's already memorable because it's 17th level. Gargantuan,
sure,
which will be a lot of fun at the table. Has first off 300 hit points, so it's gonna be a long fight. But it's just, it has so many interesting things it can do. So it has what's called a Gatekeeper Aura. So if you try to teleport within the aura's emanation, which is 60 feet from it, or enter the aura via a teleportation effect, you must succeed at a very high will save or become sickened one and have your destination changed to a point of the Radiant Warden's choosing.
Oh.
So he can basically just be like, "You're next to me now, wizard."
No.
And on a successful save, you're just sickened. So,
well.
But I love the idea that the wizard's like, "Oh, all right, guys, it's going south. We got to leave." And then Warden's like, "Nope, right here."
You were going somewhere?
Yeah. It also
as a
has
wizard who does that often, I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I know. It has a lot of really interesting like teleportation stuff that it can do. So it can do teleport, dimension door, collective transposition, dimensional lock. So I just appreciate that it's very much based on teleportation magic as like a theme for it. So it's very interesting.
That is cool. That is neat. All right, so next up is a question from Hadrian. That's not a question at all. It's a statement. All the good creatures are categorized under D. Discuss.
Under D.
D is the only letter in the breakdown of this book that is by itself.
I mean, let's be real. It's hard to compete with it. Like, that's a strong argument. You've got dragons, you've got devils, demons, daemons. You have the denizens of Ling, dinosaurs. I mean, come on.
True.
Devourers.
D's got some good stuff.
I could make a case for A, I think. Like, I could maybe make a case for A because you have the angels, archons, and
A has some cool stuff in it too.
Attic Whispers, which I know, Jess, you're a big fan of. Let's see here. I am a big fan of those. I mean, Owie Zodals.
Azada, yeah.
But
ants.
All the good guys, you know.
But D has Dwemer cats.
That's also true.
Well, kitty.
That's true.
Cats are.
Can I tell you? I've looked at this section a bunch of times, and every time I look at this section and I see that I know that it says Magma Dragon, but all I read is Mama Dragon. And so there's a young Mama Dragon, an adult Mama Dragon, an ancient Mama Dragon, and I'm like, cool. Like, but it's definitely magma.
Mm-hmm.
So what's missing is Mama Dragons.
Okay, well, Paizo, we need a Mama Dragon.
I feel like that's a template you just slap on to make it a Mama Dragon.
Nope, it's a separate
they get like
species.
a once a day surge of like strength or something, you know, like Mama Bear
like
power,
the moms that are able to like lift cars to get them off their babies and things like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Adrenaline. Yes.
Yes, very nice.
Yes.
That's what I would do for a clone.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
These are good.
Yeah. It's again, it's really hard to argue against that because frankly, there's so many cool things in there.
Yeah, these have good stuff.
Yep.
Including a little cameo from Shardazad. The Crystal Dragon. So I'll leave it at that. All right. We answered this question, but maybe we'll take another round at this. Rose from the Discord wants to know favorite new monster.
See, because I asked favorite monster altogether. This is favorite new monster.
Oh,
so you've got to find one that they added this time around.
Or at least maybe one you're not familiar with, if nothing else. But
I don't know if these are new. Maybe Ross can tell me if they're new, or Jordan can. Under elementals, E's are also really good in this book. Under water elementals, they have icicle snakes that are just freaking adorable. But they also have ice worms, which are also freaking adorable. They're so cute. I love them. I know that they're just like little baby ice snakes, but it's a snake that's called an icicle snake because it's made of ice. It's cute.
They're pretty cool, and I think they are
Very
new,
cute.
like, or at least that, like, something like them had not existed.
Yeah,
before.
I don't think they were specifically statted out as different. They would have just been an elemental. Which they do that for all the different.
The best thing about icicle snakes is that they get one action that also is concentrate. Until the next time it acts, the icicle snake appears to be an unassuming icicle.
It just lies
I
in
love
wait
it so much.
just over the side of a building.
It gets an automatic result of a 27 on a deception check.
Oh, that's really
wow.
good.
That's actually really high.
Yeah, especially for a creature too.
Anyway,
like,
yeah.
He's just an icicle,
that's pretty good.
Except also he's a snake. His little snake friend.
I feel like that might be one of those improved familiar type things you could get.
Maybe.
Yeah, like a special familiar you can take. An icicle snake would be adorable. You play in like whatever the sequel to Reign of Winter will be, something in Irisa, and you have an icicle snake, and it's like a whole thing. You worship Baba Yaga. You also have like a little cauldron that walks, and your snake just lives in your cauldron. It's awesome. I'm a big fan of it. You get a hut. I just like Baba Yaga. Everything's nice.
I mean, yeah, Baba Yaga is definitely cool lore stuff. She's always up to something interesting. Favorite new monster from? Oh, sorry. Actually, if you had more though, was I interrupting?
No, you can go.
No, okay, cool. Sorry, I apologize.
Just thinking about icicle snakes.
I mean, like you do, of course. I mean, who doesn't? The new monster for me, or at the very least, if they have had them before, I was not aware of them, and I saw them and just immediately kind of fell in love. Is a little friend called the Dig Widget. It is probably something up Jordan's wheelhouse as well.
Yep, another construct.
Yep, mindless construct. And yet they're built for infiltration. They contain numerous tools, including thieves' tools, drills, corkscrews, and all sorts of other devices that allow them to basically break into something, avoid notice.
Aww.
And then they can either be assigned to steal stuff or just to help a thief get into a place. So I don't know.
They're like little lockpick boys.
Yeah, it's like, it's hard to describe, but if I had to give it a description, it feels kind of like a bulldog made out of machine parts with like a bunch of thieves' tools for a head.
And its little front paws are drills.
Yes, and its little front paws are drills. And it also has a fascinating leap, which I just think is hilarious. It like just jumps on you and like digs in. She's like, nope, brick, like, get it off. But yeah, I just think they're so cool. I just think they're neat.
They're so neat.
Yeah. Plus, just the name Dig Widget.
Yep, that's a fun one.
Dig Widget's a great name.
Yeah, I already mentioned the Radiant Wardens, so I'm going to pick something different. Because, again, this may have existed before, but I had never heard of it, called a Drainberry bush. So they are floating bushes that originate from the first world with long, thorny vines and dense clusters of bright red berries. They look like a Drifloon. If anybody's played the last few generations of Pokemon, you'll get that. But they are intelligent plants. They're carnivorous, so like they consume people, but they have it says that they exhibit an unusually high intelligence and have an astute sense of value. They typically become insulted when creatures attempt to harvest their berries, but they will basically sell their berries, which their berries are made of their own blood they drained, but for goods. And so it says they telepathically convey only short and simple phrases, most commonly, money please, deal good, deal no good, want that, with a gesture towards an item it covets. Thank you, customer, and if necessary, no refunds.
That's a pretty great. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, you didn't read the next sentence. Though a drainberry bush considers the market value of its berries to be 25 gold pieces, it greatly prefers interesting art objects as payment, even ones of significantly lower value.
Yes. I know what they're worth.
It's an art snob.
Yes, yeah. And I love the fact that the art also has it with a mouth full of like gold necklaces and like rings and gems and things, because it's like, you know, it's like this carnivorous bush that's just like shiny.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really funny.
It's not listed as evil. It just
that's the weirdest part. It's a carnivorous plant that's not evil.
It just wants shiny stuff, and it's not that it's not intelligent enough.
Well, I mean,
it is surprisingly intelligent. It has a -2 intelligence modifier, so it is smart enough to speak. So it's just very strange and weird, and I like the weird stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's true. It's very cute. Oh, man. Okay. Dremel Dog. That's a good name for the dig widget.
Dremel Dog. Okay. Oh, man, I love that.
Dremel Dog. Rose continues. Rose has lots of questions, but the next one is also not a question. Clip-offs and why they're the best evil outsiders as a concept, except for perchance demons.
Somebody likes the dark
they're
stuff
interesting because they're like primordial evil stuff, but I enjoy that their tactic is, these stupid demons are here and we can't beat them. So let's just kill everything that could possibly sin and become a demon, and then the demons will go away.
I mean, that's one solution.
It's very much the, you know, destroy the food source to get rid of the predator kind of a, you know, vibe. Yeah.
Clip-off's thinking outside of the box on that one.
I mean, they kind of had to, because they lost the whole battle with demons in the first place.
I mean, it's true. Yeah, I mean, they're a sort of primeval evil. Anyway. But they're almost a sort of like ancient thing that can't be because the idea, it's like these things are evil, but they existed before the concept of sin is really interesting to me. It's like, so then what?
True.
Like, what are they doing?
What is evil?
Why? I mean, yeah. Like, why are they evil? In what capacity? What exactly is their thing?
Well, and what makes them evil, because they're not driven by what we would attribute to the things that cause all evil, which are the, you know, the various sins. So, you know, what is their motivation if you're not motivated by, like, you know, greed, lust, rage, so on and so forth?
Yeah. I mean, is it just some sort of, I don't know. It's a tough nut to crack, but that's what makes them interesting to me.
Yeah.
True.
I just like anything that's a little like weird and out there. So again, that kind of tickles that same vibe of just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of tickling, thoughts on worms that walks?
Oh no!
Not these things.
Oh God!
Tickling.
No.
You had to put
it's Oogie Boogie, essentially. This is the Oogie Boogie monster.
No,
it's tickling. A guy full of bugs.
Yeah, I appreciate that they actually put how to make a worm that walks, less than give it a definite stat block. So it makes it very interesting to be like, okay, I'm going to make this, you know, a worm that walks that is, you know, in the shape of a halfling. And, you know, you can just, there's basically like, here are the adjustments you do to make it into a halfling.
Because they're from people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting that the worm that walks is, again, one of those things that originally was like a unique monster. It was like just a one-off, like, this is the worm that walks. And then slowly over time has become more of a, like, it does the same thing as like a Medusa, for example. Originally there was the Medusa. Now there's like an entire, you know, just cadre of Medusas. What do you call a group of Medusas?
I mean...
I don't call them anything.
I don't know what a plural of statues is, but I kind of wanted to go with that.
A statue garden.
Yeah, a statue garden.
There you go, a statue garden. I like that.
But yeah, I think they're interesting. I mean, I'm never a big fan of anything with the ability called Squirming Embrace, because
it's just that squiggly ick factor that really gets it.
Just no. But
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say there are two very interesting things in their like sidebars. The first one is not all of them are made of worms. There can be some that are made of cockroaches, leeches, or spiders. Yeah. Cockroach that walks is worse than worm that walks. We can fight, but it's definitely worse. There's also worms redeemed. So these horrifying bags of worms were once a spellcaster. And they can they can essentially come to the light and recant their evil ways, which is bananas. And often they want to be destroyed, but they also could just be like, you know what? I'm going to use my powers to destroy evil. So there's a world out there where there's an adventure path where you meet one of these, and if you don't kill it on sight, it like becomes the NPC that hangs out with your party while you're like traveling through some horrible place.
I will use my squirming embrace for good.
I just like the idea of somebody taking... I will
huggle the bad guys.
Yeah, I just like the idea of somebody taking like some charisma damage and being like, oh god, I'm just not as pretty, but at least I'm not as ugly as that guy. Like...
Yeah, we keep that guy around for, perspective.
Yeah, I will say somebody in the RevCon in the chat did say a group of Medusae are called stoners.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of dig that. Called stoners.
Nah, I'm still here for Statue Garden.
I don't know. I thought stoners was funny.
A quarry.
Yeah, okay, all right. Let's talk about not worms. How about that?
Yeah.
Ooh, a quarry.
I don't know. It was just an idea that popped into my head. So there's another. Sometimes, every once in a while, I have a good thought. So there's
Ravners.
Oh yes, that's it, Ravners.
Yeah, so many. The next thing is about Ravners and them being, none of these are really questions. Ravners and them being the best big bad evil guys. I don't know if they're the best, but I like the husk idea. I think it's cool that like if they get too hungry for too long, they become a husk of their former selves. Ravners are like undead dragon things.
Yeah, basically.
So that's kind of neat.
I like them. I just somehow think they're just like running up the score at that point. It's like you're already a dragon. Now you basically have effectively like lich-like powers. I mean, come on, what more do you need? Like next thing you know, they're gonna
get out of here.
Yeah, next thing you know, they're gonna like teleport like the Hounds of Tindalos, and then it's just like, oh come on.
They're the power gamers of the bestiary world.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that does make them pretty unique, I'd say. So that is pretty cool. Like, you remember a fight with a Ravener. It is not one of those things that's like, oh yeah, fought a Ravener, I guess.
Well, and the thing with that's interesting with the Ravener and the Ravener Husk is the Husk dropping the challenge rating, so you could actually get to them sooner. So if you're looking at like, okay, I don't want to play all the way up to 20th level to be able to have a fight with the Ravener. You can be like, okay, let's have a fight with the Husk, and it's a CR 14 versus 21. So you could do the, kind of the, hey, we'll go up to like 12th level, and then this will be the final fight kind of a thing.
Yeah. Gives you an option for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're neat. They make me think vaguely of something from like Carrion Crown, but I don't know if that's what that actually was, and we're not doing spoilers here. So,
yeah.
Moving on. Norns, which is how I knew about Norns, and how you would have them interact with players if you were a GM. Norns are cool.
Yeah, Norns are. I mean, I know that you've already talked extensively about them, right? But
yeah,
Norns are one of those things that I feel like is best used. Not even like just you give them this air of sort of knowledge to them to the point to where whatever they say, no matter how mundane, starts to sound like some sort of prophetic wisdom. Like, I see your shoes are untied. It's like, wait, what does that mean? It means your shoes are untied. You should probably tie them before you begin walking, because that just seems fun to me.
Yeah, that does sound
I would
fun.
Try to run it, but
I see them as like, you have a Norn show up when you need to like drop a real cryptic hint, or if you just want to add some like defying fate, because fate doesn't work, but they're all about fate, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting because there's a part in their entry of the introduction where it says, while even the weakest of the eldest could destroy an unaffiliated Norn with ease, they tend to obey the proclamations and judgments of Norns when they are spoken. So I could see a really interesting thing where it's like, we've got to stop, one of the eldest. They're doing something awful and mean, and you can be like, go find a Norn and get them to hopefully make a prophecy or a declaration that is like, nope, you can't do that.
That's true. I did think that opening was interesting because it talks about the eldest, but it also says that, the eldest are more powerful than Norns, but for now they listen to Norns. But soon there will come a day when they forget the old ways and do whatever they want. So that kind of sets itself up for this bigger kind of, if you had a whole adventure in the first world and everyone played Fae.
That'd be
interesting. Then maybe that's kind of a thing that's happening.
I can see
the
being
eldest and the Norn, they conflict because the eldest are messing with fate willy-nilly, and the Norn is what keeps them in line, essentially.
Yeah, I could see that being an interesting, like, book 3, like, you get to that point and you have this, like, big declaration and nothing happens, and it's just one of those uh-oh kind of moments that then spirals the next 3 books out. Like, that'd be really interesting.
Or the Norn are all being hunted and killed by eldest. Like some eldest, somebody has decided
has figured a way around it by just assassinating them all. Yeah.
I mean, I think we are due for another first world themed adventure path at some point. I would like to see something.
I mean,
like
I love the Fae stuff, so I'm down.
Yeah, me too. All right, favorite new type of monster.
There's new types. Hang on,
I didn't see anything new, but
not sure if
I love Proteans, and so I was down to see Proteans in there. Just any kind of I love chaos, so I love Proteans.
I just like the idea of the various other elementals. I think it gives them a lot more space to play with. So like the Belcar, for example, used to just be its own entry. It wasn't actually part of the elemental line. But I think that it's really cool to have like that now is in the elemental area. The Ember Fox, for example, is so cute. It's a little fire fox. I mean,
so
who
cute.
doesn't want one of those? But it's also like they have some unique abilities now. Like a lot of the elementals aren't just like, okay, this is a slightly bigger,
this one's slightly bigger, hits slightly harder, has slightly more hit points.
Yeah, bit of fire or stone or whatever. It actually has like personalities and differences. I'm liking that. I'm liking a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. There's not really a new type, like a new like like a devil or a demon or anything like that. I did find it interesting. There's a whole section on flesh warp creatures. And as somebody who is a longtime reader of R.A. Salvatore and the Dristord and stuff, learned a lot about drow and about flesh warping, and I'm always just like, that's so messed up and so fun. Like it just tickles some weird little like buried goth part of me, I guess. I don't know.
Body horror.
Yeah, a little body horror loving part. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, last Rose question: hippopotami, and how do you think they'd interact with a group of PCs? Say, for instance, in an Osirian campaign.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it'd be pretty similar to how they interacted in Mummy's Mask with us. So
I have one note here.
They drown you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I only have one note here. Rip Doorkeepers.
Yeah. No, I mean
the hippo art is very gross looking though.
Yeah. I mean, hippos, if you get up close, can be very gross.
They're very cute when they're small, but when they're big, they're not so cute.
Yeah. Even the babies are one of the most dangerous animals in the world. Yeah. So, hooray, hippos! They will mess you up.
Yeah.
Goodness.
In real life and fake life.
Hey, that's just the game being accurate, man.
Yeah.
Hippopotami.
Sure.
Hippopotami? Yeah, hippopotami are just vicious creatures.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So James from our Patreon wants to know, what new creature could you see being the next PC race that's available to play?
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff I think could make the cut.
For sure.
I think one of the ones I want to see is the Gripply. They were actually playable in 1E after the believe it was the Advanced Race Guide.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I believe it was that one. You know, it's a bit of a selfish thing, but like playing a version of like Frog from Chrono Trigger would be fun, like a frog like a Gripply Paladin or something. So that'd be fun.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
Jenkins?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm digging a little deep on this one. So under the planar scions, they have all of the planar adjacent native outsiders, which means they have Undine, which means Masika's halfway to existing in 2nd edition if we get Undines.
Yay!
So there you go. We just got to get shamans.
Yeah, true.
And whatever allows her to get an armor.
Fair. Yeah. For me, it's hard to pick one. I think fetchlings would be cool because I really like fetchlings. They're not new to Pathfinder though. They're new in this book for 2E though. I also think that Serpent Folk would be a cool playable race, or the Triton. It's a little bit different than a mermaid or something, but it's still got aquatic feel.
Yeah.
So I think and they put a lot of Serpent Folk in this book, so that feels like, well, you've already given me several different places that's like different ethnicities of Serpent Folk here. So
yeah. I have a feeling they're going to be important in something soon.
Yeah, I wonder if they're maybe going to do similar to Iron Fang Invasion and do like we're creating a new Serpent Folk nation kind of a vibe, because I could see that being very interesting. Like they come up out of the ground and it's just like, oh gosh, where do they come from?
Yeah, maybe.
True.
So it'd be kind of cool.
It would have to not be the degenerate ones.
No. I mean, I'm sure it would be the pure blood, but it'd be interesting. Give me kind of like Gears of War vibes.
Oh yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
I can see that being really cool.
Yeah. All right. So I have one more question from our pre-prepared list of questions, and that question is: if you had to sell this book to someone using one monster, what monster would you use?
I already know.
Hey, go. Go for
all right. I would go for the Jabberwock. I mean, it's huge. It's on the cover. It's a really interesting take on kind of like Dragonkind and things like that. There's the literary tie-in that you can use for anybody who's interested in, Lewis Carroll. And it is just a very uniquely Pathfinder creature. Like, you just don't see anything like it in any other tabletop RPG that I know of, at any rate. Yeah, I would have to say that one in particular.
All right, Jordan, how about you?
Oh man, that is a really hard one. Because like there's so many good ones in this book. Man, but I have to pick just one. It really, honestly, it depends on the person, because I can see, like, if it's somebody who really likes dinosaurs, you got dinosaurs. Somebody who really likes undead stuff, you've got like crawling hands and stuff like that. Man, I don't know. I have always liked Hellcats. I always think they're really interesting art. So I'm gonna go with Hellcat, just because I always find the art really interesting, and I feel like it's the kind of thing that makes people stop and go, so what is that?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the real thing is just to get people to like open the book, and so like that would be a really attractive cover.
True.
That's true. That's a good one. I've been thinking about this question since it got asked, and I still don't think I have a great answer. Like, part of me really, really thinks that if I was going to sell someone on this book, I might pick something really mundane. So like, oh god, I picked something that's everywhere in this book. Hold on, I'm trying to find the page. I'm going fast as I can.
Hippopotamus.
No, I was thinking even more mundane than that. I was thinking, 1 minute. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. The fly. There's a fly in this book. You want to talk about like weird things that you would never think. Also, mosquitoes are in this book, which is wild. Everyone hates flies. Flies suck. They're like in the way, they buzz in your ear, but they have not just one fly, not a swarm of flies. You can have a giant maggot. You can have a giant fly. You can have, any other kind of fly you can possibly imagine, right? Like pony-sized insects that buzz around. Like, yeah, there's lots of cool magical stuff, but also there's a giant jellyfish, because of course there's a giant jellyfish, right?
Like, fair, there's like a giant version of everything.
It's so funny to me. There's some creature that looks like a jellyfish but isn't. It's like a jellyfish, but each end of the tentacles has little claws, and I'm like, they took a jellyfish and made it worse. So it's something about the mundane things that make me laugh. It's like, cool, ice dragon. Oh, elephant, neat. Like,
yeah.
It is one of those interesting things where, like, to me, like, the mundane things are always kind of interesting, because I'm always like, what would be the stats of a black bear? You know, like, I've never really thought about it in game terms, but how would you stat out a black bear? You know?
Yeah.
It's true. I find myself getting mad when I'm like, that's not how they are. How dare you?
How dare you make the badger give a hoot?
Oh, badgers are so good. But yeah, so that's all the questions we have. So in the chat, if you have any questions, I'm going to scroll up and see if we missed any. Let me look.
Somebody, RevCon again, mentioning flies that walk, flies that fly.
Flies that fly.
Oh, no.
Flies
everywhere.
Can you Kickstarter your Path to Evil and have a bunch of imps chip in, crowdsource souls? Yes, this would be amazing.
Okay, definitely. It is definitely possible, and I guarantee you somebody will eventually write the rules for it to do an MLM in hell.
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's some way to do it.
Good. That's what I've always wanted.
It's true. All right, let's see. I think there might not be any other questions. Oh, here's a question. Is there a monster from Bestiary 1 that you wanted to see a second generation of?
Second generation of?
Like
from
more
Bestiary 1 first edition, I'm guessing?
I don't know.
I would guess second. So I guess maybe like an update to the update, you know, like a different,
or just like an expansion, like more of those things. Like more types or something.
Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah. That's a really hard challenge, because it's gonna make me go. I was gonna say that's gonna make me literally open up Bestiary 1 again to look and see. We were not prepared for this level of questioning. I want to apologize
if anyone is listening to my dog snore softly in the background of this call.
If it helps, I didn't notice it, so
cool. Good, because she's very loud to me, so
oh man.
You know
what I could always use more of? Skeletons.
True, having additional variations is always nice.
Or just additional types of undead is always a good idea.
I like that I like that skeletons can throw their heads in this. So what if there were skeletons that could like throw their hands at you, or could like take a rib off and use it like a boomerang? Like just more skeletons doing weird stuff.
Let me see here. I'm literally looking at the first book in the 2E Bestiary and trying to figure out if there's something that I'm like, I want more of that.
I don't know, y'all.
You know, I think one thing I would hope for at some point, one thing I would really like to see is maybe just some additional, speaking of mundane creatures, like different types of like dogs or other like mundane things, but like with different variations. Like they have the blink dogs, which I think are definitely great, and I love blink dogs in general. But it'd be cool to have like a, you know, like by the way, here's these specialized kind of dogs that are like imbued with the power of the plains or something. You know, like you can have a plainier scion dog or something interesting like that. I think that'd be kind of a cool option.
True.
Like some
The
cat.
chat's like, where are the stats for kangaroos?
Yeah, true.
Or koalas.
A lot of the Australian animals are just sort of.
Where's the stat block for those spiders that are as big as your head?
I think they've got a bunch of those.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of Australian things. The only thing is just a little thing that's like twice or 3 times its size in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, giant spiders though are pretty standard adventuring fare.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I was gonna say this question stumped me. I honestly don't have an answer for it.
Well, you know, if you think of it in 3 years from now, you can just like tweet it into the world.
Yeah, it was like we can always use more dinosaurs. Done.
True. I mean, that's true.
Dinosaurs. I mean, you can never run out of dinosaurs, most likely. You know,
the 5-year-old in me is saying yes, absolutely, more dinosaurs, please.
Yes, more dinosaurs, exactly. More robots, more skeletons.
Gonna say I do love my constructs. So,
robots.
All right. All Aussies start at level 2 because we already fight spiders every day. So
that's no joke.
That's a good joke.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll give a few more seconds if anybody else has a question they want to type in. But otherwise, I think this might be it for us on this Bestiary 2. Oh. Pick one of your characters who needs a new monster statted, like Weirwoods from Tyrant's Grasp. What would it be?
Oh, geez.
Weirwoods.
Okay, all right. Take the easy way out there.
They're cool.
I thought it was really interesting. I don't even remember what the things were called, but at the very beginning of Tyrant's Grasp, we fight those little things that ride around in skeletons with bone chariots.
Silverfish things.
The little silverfish things. I haven't seen them yet, so I think those would be kind of interesting. Just because they ride around in little chariots, and the bigger they are, the more important they feel.
I would like to see some of the things that live in Starfinder, but did live in First Edition too. Like I think Kasatha might be a thing, but also
Kasatha
like
exists in First Edition, yeah.
Which are Morphorians or whatever. Like it would be neat to see those things in Second Edition.
Yeah, actually, that would be pretty cool. One thing that I still haven't seen yet, the Vargoyle, I think would be pretty neat. Yeah.
Wait, is it a Vargoyle or a Vargui? I think we had I feel like we had a discussion about this at some point about how to actually pronounce that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, admittedly, I've only ever read it. I actually haven't heard it pronounced, so I've always pronounced it Vargoyle in my head. But
no, yeah, I think I've always colloquially said it Vargoyle, but I could have sworn I read somewhere, heard somewhere somebody said it actually should be pronounced Vargui.
It's probably Vargui because it's French, but you know what? It's a fantasy world.
The head
Say things
that like kiss you and make you a head thing like that.
Yeah, wow. You know, that's a good point. Those are not in either of these bestiaries, so there you go.
Yeah.
Curious and curiouser.
Indeed.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to be it for us. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little bit, talking about some monsters.
Yeah.
And we'll catch y'all next time, Path Folk.
Absolutely. You all stay safe out there. Make sure to, throw some salt over your back so that way the Ikatas sneaking up behind you gets blasted in the face.
Pre-order some awesome Find the Path dice on the website. That's still a thing.
We also have hoodies. I'm waiting for my hoodie to come in because it's cold out here now in Texas.
Ooh.
It's true.
And also check on the Discord and the Patreon for the next time we do a research check so you can get your questions in ahead of time so we can answer them.
It's true.
Do we have a preview for what our next research check's
We are talking about the beginner box next time. So 2 weeks from today, we're going to talk about the beginner box.
Ooh.
For Pathfinder.
Yes.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
I was going to say we should probably preface this for second edition.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
The second edition one that just came out.
We're going old school. We're going all the way back to first edition.
We're going back to that red box in D&D. All I remember is dogs from that. Anyway. All right. Well, yeah. Good luck out there. Bye-bye.
Until next time, Pathfolk. Bye.